on this video, that must mean you want to apply to UCT. That must also mean that you left everything for the last minute because the applications are closing at the end of the month. That must also mean that you have no idea what to do, and that's why you came to my channel. So welcome, my name is Adrian, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you exactly how to apply to UCT via their online site. This specific video today is because over the last couple of weeks my UCT videos have been blowing up. So I want to show you guys a more practical way on how to apply to UCT and to answer all of your questions that you've been DMing me about how to apply, etc, etc. So in this video I'll show you exactly how to do it. I'll go through the whole thing step by step with you. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, to subscribe, to share it to anyone else who you think might need it in time before the applications close. So the first thing we want to do is open Google, and once we've opened Google, we'll search the words apply to UCT, and then we'll choose the first option that says applyonline.uct.ac.za. And then you'll be taken to this welcoming screen where they just tell you important information such as the closing date, which is the 31st of July 2020, and they also tell you that UCT will not be considering any late applications, and then just extra information for postgrads and semester abroad students. So then when you get to the bottom section, you'll see that they ask you to select the year you're applying to study, and then you say 2021, and then click here to continue. So the next screen you'll see is basically UCT just wanting you to make an account so that they make sure that there's not 3 or 4 people applying under your name. So the first question on the top that they ask you is this your first time visitor to the UCT online application website? And you can click yes, and then you can start filling in the information: first name, surname, date of birth, email, confirm email, password, which is the password to this specific account that you're making and not the password to your email. And then you can just go ahead and click on the word create account. So for this video I'll just be clicking on sign in because I already have an account, but not to worry, we will be taken to the exact same screen. So this is the screen that both of us should be seeing at this point, which is the screen where you actually start applying to study. So at the top you can see it says UCT online applications. Next to that you will see the home button, which is where we are at right now, and then personal details. So this is where we're going to start on the personal details page. I'm going to be lying a little bit just for the sake of this video, and then so let's begin. So the first question they ask you is, have you applied to UCT before? In which case you say no. Have you ever registered at UCT before? We click no. Have you been a registered student at a tertiary institution other than UCT? So basically, have you been studying at any other university before UCT? So then you would once again click no. Are you writing a secondary school leaving exam in 2020? So basically they're just asking you, are you writing your matric exam this year? So in which case you would say yes. And then they ask you, have you written a secondary school leaving examination previously? So basically, have you failed matric? Is this your second time writing matric final? Then you just say no, this is not my second time, this is my first time. And then you start filling in your information. And the next thing we're going to do is click on title. Ooh, doctor looks interesting. Okay, no. Future goals. So the title for me is Miss. Again, just click the one whichever is appropriate to you. Miss, Mr, or maybe even you married, so maybe Mrs. And then sex, you'll see male, female, and even trans. Well done, UCT. Very inclusive. I'm quite impressed, actually. So female for me. And then home language, we just scroll. English and Afrikaans is kind of my answer, but let's just go with English. And then you move on to the next question. Are you a South African citizen? Yes. And then you'll see once you click yes, they ask you for your South African ID. So I am obviously going to be covering this because I don't want you guys to be committing crimes, and then giving my ID number. So then we move on to the next question. They ask you, do you need assistance because of disability, physical or otherwise? So no in my case. And then they ask you if you want to apply for a semester abroad, but it's already defaulted on no. So then the next thing that they ask you is to upload a picture of your South African ID. So basically you can just actually take a picture of your ID with your cell phone and then upload that, which is what I did for this example. So you click on South African identity document, add attachment, choose file, picture of my ID, and then go back and click upload. And then that's pretty much all that you need to do on this specific page. You'll see it's loading a little bit in the corner, but once you finish loading, you can just click save, and then we can move on to the next step. So as you can see over here, when you're done with the application, all of these things should be filled with green ticks. So I'll be going through all of them with you in this video. So we'll be going to the top now where it says program of studies. So this is what we are here for. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived. So the first question they ask you over here is, do you have a diploma or university degree, or will you graduate by the end of 2020? In which case you would click no. And then you get to choose what you want to study. So you get two options. So the first option is what you want the most. So faculty, I'm going to go with humanities. So I'll be choosing the same things I chose when I actually applied for UCT back in the day. So faculty, humanities. Then you go to academic qualification. So then there's another drop down, and then you just basically say, are you applying for a diploma or bachelor's degree, etc. So you can just scroll down to whichever one is relevant for you. In my case, again, I chose a Bachelor of Arts, so I'll be clicking on Bachelor of Arts once again. So once you've selected that, you'll see another message pop up saying specialization or major, in which case, again, I chose Humanities General. So that's what I'll be clicking again for this example. And underneath, you can see they just give you a whole lot of other information. Undergrad prospectus is basically all the things that you guys have been DMing me about, so I would encourage you to read that, as far as how many marks do you need, what subjects, etc. And then we will move to the bottom section, which is basically your second choice. So if you don't get accepted for the first choice, what else would you like to study at UCT? So same story. Faculty, again, I wanted to study humanities. And then next drop down, my second option was theatre and performance, ladies and gentlemen. Shocking, I know. And then the specialization or major was theatre. And then, yeah, again, UCT prospectus that you should read through. Definitely, so you don't have to wait for me to reply to your DMs. And then that just tells you what you need, etc., etc. And then it says, do you wish to upload evidence of your proficiency in English? Just be like, no, dude, ain't nobody got time for that. And the next step would be to click save, and then you'll say okay once again, and then you can click on next step or click on the controls at the top. You can see again there's more green ticks forming, which means we are doing the things. And now we reach the more personal information about yourself. So your country, which is South Africa in this case, you just click on S, and then you can scroll down so it doesn't take too long. And then typing in your postal code, that's the postal code for where you live. If you don't know, just Google. And then your suburb, town or city, although disclaimer, if you type in Cape Town, it'll give you an error message. So again, just covering this information obviously for privacy reasons, but you get the point. And then at the bottom they just ask you, is your postal address different from your home address? And then you can say yes or no, again depending what's relevant to you, and then click on next. So the next part is where they basically just ask you about your high school stuff. So they ask you, are you writing a secondary leaving exam in 2020, which you already answered as yes, as you can see by the gray circle. Is your grade 12 school in South Africa? Yes. And then you have to basically tell them what your school was. So you start off by selecting which province your school is in. Mine was in the Western Cape. And then you type in the first 4 letters of your school. And then once you've done that, you click on the little search bar on the side. It'll give you options, and then you just select the correct school. Again, mine was Fairbairn College. And then just to double check, is that the school address? Hugo Street 7460, yes. And then you go to the bottom part where they ask you a little bit more questions, like have you written a secondary leaving exam previously, which you already answered as no. And then they say select your school leaving qualification or exam authority. in which case I would suggest that if you are South African, just to click other. And as you can see by the other couple of options, if you click them, they will ask you questions like indicate whether your school has 3 or 4 terms, and obviously if it's South Africa it has 4 terms, so that seems like an option for more international students. So just click other, and then at the bottom they ask you for your ID, which we already done, so we can basically just move on from here. Once again, clicking save and OK, and then moving on to the next step. Again, you can see the green ticks are filling up. And so this section they don't need right now, so we can click next step. The next section they also don't need right now, so you can click next step again. And then this section they ask you, do you wish to be considered to student housing in 2021? So that's basically asking you, do you want to stay on res, yes or no? So if you click on yes, they give you a little link, and then you have to go to the UCT student housing page. I will be doing another video on catering versus self-catering reses, so you should put on the bell so you can be notified when I do post that video, which will basically help you when you apply for res to understand which one should you select, first tier, second tier, third tier, catering or self-catering. So stick around for that video if you want a more in-detailed explanation on how to do that. But for now, we just want to get into UCT, so we'll just click no for the sake of this video. And then the next thing they ask you is about finances. So they're basically asking, do you need financial assistance? If you click yes, they give you a lot of options, links to follow, etc, etc, etc. So if that applies to you, again, just read through those things. So for the sake of this example, we will just be clicking on no, and then we'll move on to the next step. And then this is basically the last part. It's just, again, fees related. So they're talking about your parents or your guardians. So for this example, I will click my mother, so Mrs., and then filling in all of her information. So my mom's name, surname. The passport or the ID number is optional, so you don't have to fill that one in if you don't want to. Relationship would be my mother. And then email address, cell phone number, optional. Again, you don't have to fill those things in. And then they ask you, is your parent or guardian's address different from your home address? So in my case, it is a no, because I still live with my mommy. And then we go further down, you will see fee payer information. So the first question they ask you is your parent or guardian also your fee payer? So for the sake of this example, we will click on yes. Is the postal address of your fee payer different from your postal address? Then you say no, because we live at the same place. And then furthermore, they want some more details on your fee payer, which you've already filled in, so you can skip this section. And then they just show you again all of your address information, etc., which is what we filled in above that. And then when you reach the bottom section, this is basically just information for redress and disadvantage factor information. So basically helping previously disadvantaged kids get accepted, basically. So do not lie on this, but you'll see they talk specifically about black, colored, Chinese, and Indian people. So the first question they ask you over here is, what was your mother's racial classification under apartheid? Obviously, if you were a international student, this will not apply to you. And then moving on to the father part, also colored. And then what is your mother's first language? It is English. And what is the highest level of education your mother has, which I don't actually know. So for the sake of this example, let's just click I don't know, and in real life I don't know. And then they'll ask you about your father, and for the sake of this example, let's just click on matric, but do not lie, I'm just showing you as an example. And then they ask you for the highest level of education by any grandparent. I don't know what person knows this, but for the sake of this example and for real life, I don't know. And then the last part they ask you is, does or did your family receive child support grant on your behalf? So in my case, no. Does or did your family rely on social pension for you from the state? And then you just say no again for this example. And then that is all the information that you need to fill in. And when you're done, click next step and you'll receive this amazing message that says there is no missing information. You may submit your application by clicking on step 10, submit application. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I will not be submitting application because I don't want to be taking anyone's spot, and obviously I am not applying for UCT. So hopefully this video was useful, and yeah.
So thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to click the thumbs up, subscribe, share this video with whoever else you know is trying to apply to UCT and doesn't know what to do. Share it so we can all get our applications in on time. Please remember that UCT doesn't accept anyone who applies late, so we have to get the things done. So let's help our fellow South African citizens. Let's help each other. Share this video, subscribe. And once you're done sharing that, you can watch my full UCT series where I cover everything from how I got into UCT, a room tour, all the way up until my graduation. So thank you once again for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.